Good morning. Rise and freedom. I'm Austin Peterson. You're watching and listening to the Wake Up America show on the 4 Liberty Network. Today is Friday, January the 10th. We're glad and thankful to have you here. Good morning, pineapples.
Good morning, pineapple. Looking very good, very nice.
My little pineapple is joining us live here from our cozy home studio, the lovely Stephanie Peterson.
Good morning.
What's up, Steffi?
I sing Hazel, good morning, pineapple. And she always smiles whenever I sing it.
Oh, Steffi, I'm so glad and thankful to have you here, and I'm so glad and thankful to have internet.
I know, this is kind of weird.
Yeah, it's been kind of crappy the last couple of days, but we turned it on this morning. We were like, whoa, rip-roaring fast internet today. It's been kind of...
Yeah, thank God for phone data. I've been having to use my phone data this week.
Yes, but we're not on the phone data. We're on our typical like T-Mobile 5G. The internet, it snowed a lot last night, so we were like thankful that we didn't have to leave the house. So.
I haven't even left the house in like over a week. Oh no, the last time I left the house was last Friday.
Mm-hmm.
We were at the studio. I have not left the house since then.
No, well, yeah, you haven't left the house for like weeks taking care of the baby.
I know. It's crazy.
Good
Hello,
morning,
world.
pineapples. Looking very good and very nice. Bruce Burt Whistle, John Rail, Kermode Bear, LDub78, T-Mill 2020. Good morning, good morning. Sign of Jonah. We're all hanging out. Let's go, let's go. It's Friday. In a good mood. Any fun plans for the weekend? Oh, John Rail getting that bonus content unlock started already. That says, let's do this. Thank
He already
you, John.
unlocked the whole thing?
No, he's...
Oh, wow.
He donated $2.
He was using his Delta points.
Do me a favor, talk to the audience for a second, because I got to fix your camera. It's too
Oh
low.
gosh, so in terms of what we have this weekend scheduled, we really don't have much. We have been working 7 days a week. I am not kidding you. It has been nonstop. We have like barely any time to even do anything. It's like between the baby, me doing my therapy, helping with the business, making food. Yeah, it's been a lot, but you know what? You got to work hard to be successful.
That's right. And planning the AP DC Liberty Tour.
Yep, we did that too.
We've been kind of busy this week, but we're hoping that we're going to see a lot of our friends in Washington, D.C. this May 1st to the 3rd. We're going to talk about that. Justin Peterson will be on the show today.
Nice. I think he might be able to come to D.C., right? Because Boston and D.C. are pretty close.
How are you just going to drop a bombshell like that, Stephanie?
I don't know.
And,
would he be able to? I'm just thinking out loud here.
So he said that he's already looking into it. So I was kind of thinking like it would be like a surprise guest.
Oh, I'm just thinking out loud. I don't know if he's actually coming. I'm just saying it would be cool if he did.
Well, yeah, I don't know if he's actually coming. I just didn't want to promise that if people were going to be really excited to see him.
We'll suggest it to him.
Yeah, well, yes. And so we're hoping Justin will be there with us. If so, that will make the APDC trip even better.
Oh, yeah.
And people have questions about like the price and if there's any discounts and things like that. And we are going to talk about that this morning. But there's a lot of huge news. I mean, the LA wildfires, speaking of internet speeds and LA wildfires.
I'm glad we're not going on a trip to LA. Let me just say that.
Yeah. The speaking of internet speeds and the LA wildfires, so the only reason that many of the reporters were able to get their broadcasts out, which kind of was shocking to us, consider like what we had seen about the speeds of Starlink. Take a look at this. Listen to this.
The only reason that you're able to see us right now is because of a Starlink connection that we just got today. That's the only reason we're able to hear and communicate with you guys right now, because there's absolutely no cell service at all in this whole area. Yeah,
no cell service, but they were able to get Starlink.
Was that her that was buffering?
No, that was us.
Oh, okay. I was like, oh my God, is Starlink buffering?
No, it's us. It's the internet out here. But Starlink, they've extended Starlink in the area. Apparently, Elon Musk has this deal with T-Mobile where they will if you have a T-Mobile phone, then it can uplink to Starlink, and they're able to get people's cell phone service through their T-Mobile devices.
We have T-Mobile.
Yeah, but they're not going to help us out here, right? So I was on the Starlink. I was actually on the Starlink waiting list.
I
and,
remember.
Yeah, and I paid the $500 deposit, and I waited like a year and a month, and I was just like, all right, fine, I'm never going to get it. So because it's like a waiting list lottery situation and stuff. So
they basically prioritize Africa first, and then the other people.
To be fair, they prioritize Steffi. They prioritize like disaster areas, which Africa is kind of one big disaster area.
Yes.
Sense.
I mean, we should be thankful we even have internet.
Yeah.
I just think in this modern day, I mean, I've had internet ever since the 90s.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm used to being connected. So it's really sad that in this modern day, in the 2020s, we still do not have fast internet.
Yeah, we're looking at the wildfires in California. Politicians are blaming each other for the horrific loss in Los Angeles, and a homeless person was actually detained. There was a suspected case of arson, because what's happening is that allegedly some homeless people, Stephanie, are actually going out of their way to start more wildfires. Actually,
right. How would that help them?
It's not about helping them. First of all, many of them are mentally ill, so for them it's just about causing as much chaos as possible. But for those who aren't mentally ill and malicious, like you have to understand just like kind of how much certain people hate modern society and want to destroy it all so that they can have the chaos that's in their minds they want to bring on to other people. It's kind of like, when you watch that movie like The Joker or like things like that, there's just a lot of unwell people out there that they just want to, there are some people, Stephanie, that just want to watch the world burn. That's all it is.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. But I guess a homeless person, the positive thing about destroying the world would be they could be part of the evacuation camps.
Yeah,
they could get food, bedding, clothes.
Honey, the problem with your logic is that you're applying logic, right, to people who have renounced it to a large extent, right? So it's not as if you can't really, you can't say, oh, well, it makes sense. This is them trying to help themselves. They don't care about helping themselves. They don't care about helping other people. It's not about helping at all. Because listen, there's plenty of resources available for these people, right? There's food, there's shelter. Like they go into these shelters and then they leave the shelters. So it's not like they actually are like, they're not really looking for help. They don't want help. They want drugs and they want alcohol and they want to cause chaos in the world around them because many of them are mentally ill, right? Yeah. So, and some people like Dad Bod Baboon makes a good point when he says we need to stop using the term mentally ill for everyone who's being a dick. Sometimes a dick is just a dick. Yes, exactly.
Right.
Thank
Not
you.
everybody has a diagnosis nowadays, even though therapists would like to diagnose every single person.
Caleb Vanderfelds, who lives here in Jeff, says, it appears we've been blessed with a few more inches of snow this morning. Yeah, it was an interesting drive to work this morning. Yes, that's why we avoided it. Sorry about that, bud.
I know. I'm so mad that I got rid of my Subaru and replaced it with a front-wheel drive minivan.
No, you're not.
I was telling you, I said, here in Missouri, we barely ever get snow. I understand I don't need four-wheel drive anymore. A couple weeks later, look what happens.
Yeah,
all of a sudden we get all this snow.
Except for the Christmas trip to Washington D.C. was packed to the gills, and we needed the van.
Kansas City, right?
Yes, Justin's going to be on this morning at 8 a.m. Central, so I'm looking forward to speaking to him. This was an interesting video that he sent me about this woman who confronted California Governor Gavin Newsom outside of her home, which had burned down. Take a look at this.
Governor, you got a second? Governor, I live here, Governor. That was my daughter's school, Governor. Please tell me what you're going to do. I'm not going to hurt him, I promise.
I'm literally talking to the president right now to specifically answer the question of what we can do for you and your daughter.
Can I hear it? Can I hear your call? Because I don't believe it.
I'm sorry. There's literally, I've tried 5 times. That's why I'm walking around to make the call.
Why is the president not taking your call?
Because it's not going through. So
Why?
I have to get cell service.
So let's get it. Let's get it. I want to be here when you call the president.
I appreciate it. I'm doing that right now. And it's to immediately get reimbursements, individual assistance, and to help you. I'm devastated for you. I'm so sorry, especially for your daughter. I have 4 kids losing the school.
Everyone who went to school there, they lost their homes. They lost 2 homes because they were living in one and building another.
They lost 2 homes because
we lost
they were
both of our houses. Feel bad for us. I mean, this is
Stephanie.
rich stay-at-home moms.
She's so...
I'm just saying. The housewives that have nothing to do And I bet she is so happy that she gets to wear her COVID mask again. Like, these people, they've had their COVID masks ready to be worn again, and they are just so happy about it.
They have 95 masks that are ill-fitted that they're putting on
that
themselves.
woman,
That,
that is not being put on properly. That looks like terrible.
All right, so
the dogs somehow got.
Yeah, we're gonna have to lock them out
here.
of the door, out of the studio room here in just a minute, right? But no. Okay, first of all, you're making me laugh here, Stephanie. First of all, she's gonna send these people to the camps, but. Yeah, when she said, so I was feeling really like sympathy for her, and she was like confronting Gavin Newsom, and I was like, yeah, and then she goes, and I don't hate rich people or anything like that. It's not what this is about. But when she's like, she's like, my second home, she's like, my second, and so their second homes were burning down, and I'm just kind of like, yeah, I'm not sure. Now, there went my sympathy.
The vibe that I was getting from her is she's a very entitled housewife that never gets told no. Because she's like, you don't have cell phone service. Let's get it, Gavin.
Well, here's what my point was going to be. Was that these people, they really think that, like, the president of the United States is like God, right? That like,
what can he do? Is there a switch he can turn on that takes all the fires away?
Yeah, it's like Joe Biden is like going to like magically just call the president and he can fix everything, right? Yeah. It is like, first of all, it's Joe Biden. He has no effing clue what's going on. And second of all, the president is not some god. Here's Joe Biden. This is like from last year. Oh, this is from 2021. This is Joe Biden talking about. This was Joe Biden helping back then. Let's see how much he was helping. Let's hear it.
He said it includes billions of dollars to strengthen wildfire preparedness, resilience, and response. It includes funding for prevention efforts like forest management and to restore millions of acres of high-risk areas to protect homes and public water sources for drinking. And, and overlaying all of this is the necessity to successfully confront climate change.
Yeah, well, they've been blaming it on climate change, but that was Joe Biden helping. That was Joe Biden helping that 2021.
This time around? Is he talking about it?
Yeah, I have another one. Here he is. This is him helping now.
If they contact disasterassistance.gov, anybody who's lost everything or anything of consequence, disasterassistance.gov or 1-800
Oh God.
I beg your pardon. 1-800-221-3362.
This is not AI. This is really what he said.
That's the president of the United States. Get on the phone with the president.
Like, he doesn't even know his phone number. Like, he'd be like, I'm sorry, 818.
I want to be here with you when you call him. Call the president.
He should have just been like, call 911. That's probably the only number he even remembers nowadays.
Governor, please tell me, what are you going to do with the president right now?
What are you going to do? We're gonna wave our magic wands, and we're just going to solve all of your problems. Like, this is the thing, is that people think that the politicians, number one, that they think they actually give a shit, and they definitely do not. And second of all, like, what are they going to do? They've created all of these problems. We're going to, there's the insurance question here in this one, right? So the insurance problem was huge. They diverted the water from upstate to it's not coming downstream. They're terrible water management. And then when it came to the fire response, here's what the fire department has been concerned with. These are the kind of PSAs that the fire department. This is the Los Angeles Fire Department. Take a look at listen to this, Steffi.
You want to see somebody that responds to your house, your emergency, whether it's a medical call or a fire call, that looks like you. It gives that person a little bit more ease, knowing that somebody might understand their situation better. Is she strong enough to do this? Or you couldn't carry my husband out of a fire, which my response is, he got himself in the wrong place if I have to carry him out of a fire.
Okay, excuse me. Okay, there's so much to pick apart about that. Right, there's so much to pick apart about that. Okay, first of all,
is that a man that's talking? Or
is that a woman or a man?
I think that's an androgynous
Smoke
individual.
the day's last cigarette.
Wait, but this person said that we want people that look like us to take us out of fires?
Yes, that is because that's really important.
So
that's what whenever somebody
person does not look like me.
First of all, if they show up, that doesn't, nobody looks like that person, right? Like that is something all of its own, right? That's like a Pokemon. But no, so no, yeah, when a firefighter shows up to your house, Stephanie, do they need to have like voluptuous breasts and long red hair and like a slightly Jewish nose in order for like you to feel safe?
No, I want them to be like a strong, burly man who can pretty much lift anything.
Well, yeah, and it's like, here's the thing that kind of pisses me off. Like, so like halfway through this discussion, hold on, let's play the second part of this.
Their situation better? Is she strong enough to do this? Or you couldn't carry my husband out of a fire? Which my response is, he got himself in the wrong place if I have to carry him out of a fire.
Okay, hold on. So like literally your job is to carry people out of a fire, and you're scolding victims for being in a fire. Well, he got himself in the wrong place if he got in a fire.
So maybe people shouldn't live in Los Angeles and they're in the wrong place, so nobody should pull them out.
Right, and then it goes on. It's like only 5% of working firefighters are women. Right, it's kind of like...
Well, because we are not strong. We have to be realistic here. We don't have big muscles, typically, unless we're on steroids.
Yeah, I was laughing because somebody posted a meme that said that was joking about this, that you need somebody in the fire who looks like you. Like, so does that mean you need like a disabled, like in a wheelchair, crippled person to show up to show up to save you?
I mean, I don't want this person to be wearing plain clothes. I don't want them to be wearing a dress. I want them to be wearing as much, fireproof gear as possible so that they can walk through flames to get to me.
Well, this is a person who, like, if they show up to a fire, the makeup is going to melt off. I don't be able to see.
Well, this person does not wear makeup. Look at that person. That person is...
might understand their situation better. Is she strong enough to do this? Or you couldn't carry my husband out of a fire? Which my response is, he got himself in the wrong place if I have to carry him out of a fire.
Only about 5% of working firefighters are women.
I mean, I am paranoid, and I try to never have fires happen, but I know that they happen sometimes outside of your control. It's not your fault always.
Yep.
We know somebody, the person who cuts our hair, actually, her son had plugged in his headphone set, and the battery actually started a fire in their house, and they messed up their whole house.
Yeah. That's those lithium-ion batteries.
Yeah.
Vice President Kamala Harris, at least for another 10 days or so, may be pitching a run for governor of California.
Sadly, many insurance companies have canceled insurance for a lot of the families who have been affected and will be affected, which is only going to delay or place an added burden on their ability to recover. And I think that is an important point that must be raised, and hopefully there can be some way to address that issue, because these families, so many of them, otherwise will not have the resources to recover in any meaningful way. And many of them have lost everything.
Yeah.
She's saying the obvious. Like she's not reporting anything new. Like many of them have lost everything. Yeah, duh. We know that.
So California is the only state that hasn't allowed insurers to incorporate the cost of reinsurance into premiums. Until this year, it had also prohibited insurers from adjusting premiums by using the standard industry practices of catastrophe modeling to predict a property's future risk. Insurers could only assess premiums based on historical losses. So in other words, in California, these insurance companies, they're pulling out because they're not allowed to make reasonable risk assessments for what could happen in the future and to use proper market modeling in order to ensure that they're able to have sustainable business models. I mean,
I don't blame them.
Yeah.
They're losing money.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is that businesses are not created to lose money.
Right.
Except for Amazon and for all those tech companies that we were laughing and looking at that clip about last night, but that's neither here nor there. But these insurance companies, the government destroys their business models and makes it impossible for them to be profitable. And that's by design in many ways, because many of these socialist politicians, they don't want private companies to be involved in the business of like disaster rescuing. They just want the government to just pay people
FEMA.
out. Yeah, they just want the government. Exactly.
I wrote a paper in college about FEMA and how terrible they are right after Hurricane Katrina, because everyone's like, "Oh, the government will help us." The government's not perfect.
Remember how they helped in East Palestine? Or, I mean, how many natural disasters have we had recently? And FEMA was either nowhere to be seen, or actually, remember the hurricanes on the East Coast this last fall?
Oh yeah, North Carolina.
Yeah, North Carolina. And then what happened was that FEMA was actually blocking individuals. FEMA was actually blocking some of the disaster assistance that was coming in from private actors from going into the disaster areas. It was a mess, but that's what they want. That's what people like Kamala Harris and all these others want. They don't want they want the government to be the lone disaster assistant. They want the LGBT, super queer, Muslim, transgender, 350-pound fat queer fighter to like show up. Because that's what people are really concerned about. That's the United States.
Is that there is diversity and
equity and inclusion.
Whenever somebody's rescued,
that's going away though. A lot of that DEI is going away. I was reading the Wall Street Journal just last night before we went to bed about how so many of these corporations are starting to get rid of this. I mean, they're like the winds of change are blowing. Were you shocked? Yeah, here it is. The CEOs tearing up the policies that Trump hates. Companies seeking to benefit from campaign promises to cut regulations and taxes are ditching diversity and climate initiatives. Everybody wants to be my friend, says Donald Trump. Hold on, I've actually got that clip where he was talking about that. Oh, here we go.
Sorry, George is being annoying. So
that's okay. Yeah, go ahead and if you want to just go ahead and take him out and close the doors for me. I'll play this clip for the audience.
George
and fill
is
you
loud.
in on it. Yeah, he's loud. Hold on a second. Here we go.
We've been watching over the last couple weeks. A lot of CEOs, including some who censored you 4 years ago, have been coming down here basically to kiss the ring. Did they change or did you change?
Well, maybe we all changed. I think they've gained a lot of respect. I think they looked at the mandate that we got. As you know, we won the popular vote. As I said, we won all 7 swing states. They said, well, if Trump would win, I had to win 3 because I had a lot of early voting going on, and we had to win 3, and we won all 7, and we won them by a lot. We didn't win them by a little. We won them by a lot, and we won the popular vote by a lot. I think that had an effect. I also think it's like, let's get something done. You look at what happened with Facebook today and yesterday, what they announced. That was a big concession from them. I mean, they went from I call them the unlocked boxes. They call them lock boxes. I call them the unlocked boxes because they seem to be unlocked a lot of times. But you went from the unlocked boxes into a statement yesterday that's really talking about free speech. What a difference that is. And so we appreciate that. But I think they've gained a lot of respect. We've had everybody. Jeff Bezos came, Bill Gates came, Mark Zuckerberg came. Many of them came numerous times. The bankers have all come. Everybody's coming. I haven't had anybody saying anything bad about me. I'm not used to it. But a lot of it's respect. I think they respect the Republican Party. The Republican Party has become a much bigger party. It's become a party for the worker. If you look at all of the union votes that I got, and when I say I, it's really all of us together because it's a whole thing. But we won the Teamsters. We did great with the auto workers. We did, all heavily union. And non-union states, we won by a lot. Florida is an example. We won by millions of votes, the highest vote ever gotten. And so it's been. So
I was reading this. The CEOs who are tearing up the policies that Trump hates are talking about Mark Zuckerberg. He was talking about Zuckerberg here just a moment ago. And he was all the changes that corporate America are initiating are due to Donald Trump's election. I mean, this is kind of like this was the argument. The reason I was making the argument that it was so important for people to vote for Donald Trump, because whether or not you agree with Donald Trump or not, the culture will change with the election of Donald Trump. And that's certainly happening. You've got Mark Zuckerberg, who said in his video that we're at a cultural tipping point. Did you get to see Mark Zuckerberg's video at all, where he was talking about relaxing the restrictions, the censorship over there, and that
good. It's probably affecting his revenue. The fact that he's blocking out so many people.
Well, I think he probably gets the fact that like the culture on Facebook has changed so much now that people don't really want to use it other than boomers and stuff for family, that it's not like the cool place to be.
Right.
And he probably realizes that like in the long term that alienating 50% of an entire country is not a good idea. And, you know, without Donald Trump winning the election, we would not have seen these changes.
Right.
So, you know, and of course, a lot of it is just that these corporations are just trying to curry favor with Trump. They don't want him cracking down on them or
they want tax breaks or whatever he's going to offer them.
Exactly. Right. So, it wasn't long ago that, #MeToo and Black Lives Matter were making our lives hell in the corporate workplace because DEI was taking over everything, right? This was going to be the culture from now on, that it was going to be racist against white males and that we were going to have ESG and DEI forever. But with a surge of push behind Donald Trump and behind the MAGA movement, everybody coming together in opposition of this, now that the culture has changed, the corporations are starting to change. And frankly, you love to see it. It's a good thing.
Yeah, I think change is always good. When you stay the same for too long, I think that's never a good thing. I even say, if you keep a good politician in office for too long, change is always needed.
I really like this part of the article. It says, to better understand how to gain Trump's ear, some business leaders have turned to Nikki Haley. Haley recommended CEOs follow what she called the Dolly Parton approach. The country music star rarely voices her personal politics, even though she has supported gay rights, COVID-19 vaccine research, and other philanthropic efforts. Everybody loves Dolly Parton, Haley said in an interview, and no one knows what she stands for.
We get her books for free.
Yeah, so that's
her charity.
That's her philanthropy, yeah.
Yes.
Some business leaders felt shut out during the Biden administration. Many in the tech industry chafed under the antitrust scrutiny of the FTC. Silicon Valley CEOs griped to one another about the lack of access to Biden or his top aides. Trump's a different story. Nikki Haley, she's now vice chair of the public affairs unit at a communications firm, Edelman, told CEOs they should seek FaceTime with Trump and tout plans to add jobs or build products in the U.S. Go in with the intent of building a relationship, Haley said. Talk about what investing you're going to do in the U.S. And then that's that clip where Trump said, everybody wants to be my friend. They want to curry favor with Trump. They don't want to be banned, and they don't want like TikTok bans, like what to happen to them, what's happening to TikTok. So
at the end of the day, money always talks.
Yeah.
No matter what, because we need that to survive. All of us, even Mark Zuckerberg.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. I don't trust Mark Zuckerberg. Right.
Oh, no. I mean, I'm sure he's being fake. He's not being genuine in this whatsoever.
Exactly.
He's just doing what he has to do, and he's biting his tongue while doing it.
Yes.
Can you bless me with something?
Oh, gosh.
Money wise.
So I've got another clip here. I don't know if I want to go there. Hold on.
We still didn't watch the one about the homeless person starting the fire. Was there?
Well, there's not a video of that.
Oh, okay.
I just have that. All I have is like a picture of the homeless person being detained. I don't have them actually.
Wow.
I don't have actually. This is the presidents of the United States at the Jimmy Carter funeral yesterday. Take a look at this.
Oh my.
Look at that. That's
He's
George.
A bro.
That's exactly
Hey, bro.
Stephanie.
What's
yeah.
up?
He's a bro. He's a bro. He's a bro.
You know, we were actually talking about that yesterday with Brad, the person who works with us.
Yeah.
But when you're in the President's Club, it's such a small club.
Yeah.
And even if you don't agree with each other, you've gone through such a special circumstance that only these people in the club can understand.
Right. Well, because it's like people were criticizing Obama for laughing, sitting next to Donald Trump and laughing.
Right.
Because they were, like, this is the Babylon Bee. Obama and Trump separated at Carter funeral for disruptive behavior.
Oh, they were laughing at the funeral. That's actually.
Yeah.
Oh,
I think Kamala Harris actually turned around and kind of gave him a menacing look because she was sitting right in front of them.
She never laughs.
Yes.
Unless she's laughing like a
Well,
fake
here's the
person.
thing. Like, well, the one criticism that I think was fair in this one was that like Obama was saying that like Obama and the left were saying that he's literally Hitler, and now here's like Obama sitting down laughing with literally Hitler, right? So
yeah, and at the end of the day, this is all just business.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah,
it's
exactly.
like there's still people behind the scenes.
Mhm.
There's still normal people just like you and I.
Yeah.
Oh my God, George Bush looks so old. What happened?
Well, he's old, honey. This is what I mean. The presidency
I haven't
ages
seen
you.
him in years. You know
Yeah.
how you haven't seen someone in years? Oh
Yeah.
my God, he
Yeah.
looks wow.
Yeah.
I almost can't even recognize this guy. Wow.
Yeah, he's looking more and more like his dad.
I feel so bad for him.
No, don't feel bad for George
Oh
W.
my
Bush.
goodness.
He's fine. There he is. So people are like, oh, well, why are you making him laugh? First of all, like, how could you not laugh? I mean, Trump is like one of the funniest people ever.
I'm sure Obama liked Trump back when he was on television. When he was a
Everybody,
celebrity.
they all liked Trump before
Yeah.
he got into politics, before he became a Republican.
Right.
Right? Brad Beckman over in the chat says, it's wild to think family members refuse to speak to each other over politics while the guys we fight over cut it up like we're best of friends. Yeah, that's
Right.
true.
And that's where you have to be able to just, separate work from, personal life. It's like, at work, just be civil to each other.
Yeah. I think hold on. I think this might be the clip where Kamala, like, okay, so like Donald's telling Obama all this, he's like telling him jokes or something. At one point, like Kamala gives them like the shush, like the shushing mom look. I'm not quite
she
sure.
Does. She breaks up any fun that anybody has.
Yeah. Hold on. Hold on. Okay. So Trump was actually asked about this. Here was his response.
What were you talking to Barack Obama about?
It did look very friendly, I must say. I didn't realize it. How friendly it looked. I saw it on your wonderful network just a little while ago before I came in, and I said, boy, they look like two people that like each other, and we probably do. We have little different philosophies, right? But we probably do. I don't know, we just got along, but I got along with just about everybody on that. We met backstage, as you know, before we went on, and I thought it was a beautiful service, but we all got along very well, which is good.
What were you talking
Yeah. So there you go.
It's like you can be friends with people who have different views. It is possible. You just have to be very mature about it.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
You had Al Gore, Mike Pence.
Oh, God,
There
I
you're
haven't
shaking
seen Mike
hands.
Pence in a while.
Yeah, hold on. Let's see. Let me pull up the.
All
want
these
to
people
be
I
able to see
forgot
this,
about.
All right. So there's Al Gore right there. Mike Pence.
Where's JD Vance?
Oh, I don't know. He might not be there. Somebody's got to
Just in case they get blocked.
They don't want to have them too close
something.
together. Yeah.
Yes.
Something like that. There we go. Hold on. So yeah, there's Melania. Let's see who else
Those
is
chairs
walking
do
in.
not look comfortable whatsoever.
Oh God,
They're
yeah.
so hard
like
looking.
for depending on how long the funeral
Oof.
is, that might have been painful too, right?
Yes.
Hold on, let's see here. Oh, there's Obama coming in. He's shaking Al's hand.
Oh, and Michelle. Michelle's not there either.
Yeah, Michelle's not there. You're right.
That's weird.
Mm-hmm.
So these random people didn't show.
Yeah.
Maybe Michelle's going to run for president next
Look
time.
at
They're trying to
George
protect
W.
her.
there hitting somebody over the head with a piece of paper. Watch this.
What?
There's some
He's
antics.
abusive.
There's some antics. Watch this.
George Bush is a very physical person, apparently.
Look at
oh
that.
my goodness. He's such a jokester.
They all are, apparently. This is how we do them to Iraq. Iraq is how we do Iraq. Jeez, man. Nuclear, yeah. Talk about a different time and a different place. Oh, there's Bill and Hillary.
Oh,
Okay,
Bill,
we said a
Bill
veritable-
was sick recently, I heard.
A veritable who's who of war criminals, baby killers.
Wow, Hillary really put on that hairspray there.
Yeah, she's
Wow.
got. She's got a
That
lot.
afro sheen, right?
What it? Afro should know. What do you call Aquanet? All right, let's take a quick little break. Let's take a quick little break. Welcome to the Wake Up America show. Good morning. I'm Austin Peterson. Hello, my little pineapples. Looking very good and very nice. Good morning, pineapple. Looking very good, very nice.
Remember we brought a pineapple to Christmas? I don't even remember what we did with it. Where is it?
I brought it in the house. I don't know if Dad ever ate it.
I don't even think we ate the pineapple.
That sucks because I really do love pineapples. So anyways,
Oh, my goodness.
welcome to the Wake Up America show. Today's Freedom Family Friday. It's the day that I bring my family on the show. So that's my smoking hot Daphne-esque wife, Stephanie Peterson.
And I just say really random funny things that
we
come
just
out of
goof
my
around
mouth.
on Friday. So we talk about the news, but it's a little bit more laid back. We're broadcasting from our home studio. Thankfully, the internet is working today. Thank God. And my brother, Justin Peterson, will be joining us live in about 25. So about 25 minutes from now, Justin Peterson will be joining us here on the Wake Up America show. Talk about the LA fires, talk about this, that, and the other. Please do click the like button if you haven't already. We haven't really been pushing it really hard, but we do have bonus content for today. So if you'd like to see it, help to unlock the bonus content. Good morning, pineapple. Looking very good and very nice. Oh, yes, there it is. So we've got the bonus content for you guys if you want to unlock it. If we hit $75 by the end of the show, and you will unlock today's bonus content. And you can unlock it in how many ways, Stephanie? How do we unlock the bonus content?
Oh, boy. You can give a rant on Rumble or YouTube, right? Can people still give money on YouTube?
No, we're demonetized on YouTube.
Never mind. Don't do YouTube. You can buy something awesome from forlibertyshop.com.
Mm-hmm.
You can go to wakeupamericashow.com/support and you can become a monthly donor, which is what we are definitely suggesting. $17.76 a month. Become a Peterson's Patriot.
Gets you on the Peterson Christmas card list. It gets you a 20% discount. And I think a lot of people didn't know that actually that 20% discount applies to the APDC Liberty Tour. Right?
Yes. So if you do the math, I think if you become a subscriber, you'll save money by becoming a subscriber and saving the 20% on the trip.
Technically, yeah. So technically you could game the system and become like the minimal amount of monthly supporter, buy the buy one, get one ticket and save hundreds of dollars in travel, the ticketing expenses, but you have to become a monthly subscriber to the Wake Up America show. So if you guys are interested in joining us in Washington, D.C., May 1st through the 3rd, then visit forlibertyshop.com. Let's go ahead and pull it up here, Stephanie.
I saw Quest Fanning. He's really going to try to make it out there.
Yeah, a lot of people are already like starting to look into their traveler itineraries and stuff. I know that Andy Opperman wanted to come so bad, but some people have already had trips planned.
Oh, no.
And I know Amy J.E.'s as well. She was really looking forward to come, but she had
and John Rail, he's going right to Iceland at that very time.
Oh, he is? Oh,
yes.
Okay. Yeah, that sucks because I was hoping to see him as well.
Yes.
But if you guys want to join us for Revolutionary War Weekend in Washington, D.C., then go to forlibertyshop.com. And if you are a monthly sub to us either on Rumble or on wakeupamericashow.com/support, then you guys would be able to save 20% on your admission. Cecilia says, what? I've not seen my 20% discount, but that would help tremendously. Yes, Cecilia, we will get that to you. If anybody is a monthly subscription and you don't have your 20% discount code, remember the code applies to not just the Liberty Tour, it also applies to the shop as well.
Oh yeah,
right? So,
unlimited. It's for lifetime as long as you're a subscriber.
It's lifetime and unlimited, and as long as you're a subscriber.
Correct. The moment you are not a subscriber anymore, you cannot use it.
Correct. So it's not lifetime and it's not permanent. It's as long as you are a monthly.
But there'll be a
sub,
lifetime subscriber. Just like a lifetime libertarian.
There's no we don't have a lifetime subscription. We'll offer it for $2,000 or something. I don't know. But if you are a monthly subscriber and you want your 20% discount, send us a text 573-319-1586. Again, you can text the show and let us know 573-319-1586. David Lee is asking, what's included? Lodging, blah, blah, blah. Do you want to explain that, Stephanie?
Sure. So what is included is Austin Peterson as your tour guide. He's going to be your personal tour guide, and he's going to take you around to various landmarks around Washington, D.C., including the Capitol. We're going to get a Capitol tour, and we're going to likely have Bob Onder with us. Mm-hmm. He is our congressman.
And we're going to try and go visit Thomas Massey.
Yes.
And if you want to visit your congressman while you're there, we can do that.
And we're
the whole tour itinerary, if you go into the collection, is right here. So the Liberty Tour base package for one person here, that's $500. But we do have a buy one, get one ticket here. So you can get one for one person, and then you can get 50% off the second if you want to do that. And then if you have the 20% discount because you're a monthly sub, then you get an additional 20% off of that. So we've gone out of our way to make it so that our super fans and biggest supporters are going to save a lot of money if you are a monthly sub. So the itinerary is here. We do the Capitol Tour with Dr. Bob Onder, go Congress critter hunting, and then we go to my favorite Peruvian chicken joint, all of us in Ballston, Virginia, everybody who wants to go.
So we'll all be together in a unit. And in terms of what is included, you do have to provide your own transportation. Although if you are having trouble, we can try to link you up with some resources, people we know in the area that can help.
Right. So flights, transportation, travel, that, staying in your hotel, that's all on you guys, because some people want to stay in nice hotels. Some people don't want to stay in nice hotels.
Some people might want to stay with family or friends.
Right. Some people are going to drive. Some people are going to fly. Some people want to fly budget. Some people want to fly first class. So rather than try and force everybody into a one-size-fits-all solution, we've just left it to you guys to get there. And then we have coordinated a series of events for you all to join us at, right? So you can join us on Thursday, Friday, or Saturday. You can join us Friday and Saturday, no matter what. But the tour prices are the same. So if you guys want to, looks like Andy just unlocked the bonus content. Thank you, Andy. We appreciate you, brother. He went to For Liberty Shop. He bought a
We can always count on Andy.
You can always count on Andy to unlock the bonus content. He bought a Doge hoodie and a Doge mouse pad. The mouse pad's great. We have one of those.
Oh, yeah. We have one here.
But on Thursday, we'll do the Capitol tour with Dr. Bob. On Friday, we're going to go to the U.S. History Museum. And if time, we're going to do the Jefferson Memorial, because Friday morning, we have an optional add-on upgrade. If you guys want to join a live taping of the Wake Up America show, then that is an optional add-on into the tour package. So Friday morning, anybody who wants to join us there has to go and purchase the add-on ticket for the Friday morning. And they're like, oh, why can't we just have that be part of the package? Well, it's because if we have too many people, then my venue I get blown out of our venue, and we need to we'll have to rent another venue. So that's why. And then we also have an optional add-on upgrade for one person and one group only, a private dinner with me and Stephanie and Hazel in Old Town Alexandria at my favorite restaurant in Old Town, which is Chadwick's English Pub.
Have I been to Chadwick's? I think I have with you.
Yes, I took you to Chadwick's.
That's right.
But here's the thing about Chadwick's. This dinner, somebody last night who's not even going to be on the tour was like, I think I'm going to get that. So
they're going to get what?
They're going to buy that dinner with us in DC.
Oh, wow.
So here's the thing. Once somebody buys that, it's gone.
Right. It's very exclusive, and that's why there's that price tag with it.
Because we only have one time. If you want to hang out with us for dinner the night before Thursday night, we are going to go all together to Super Pollo. But then on Friday night, if you want to go to my favorite place, beautiful waterfront restaurant, an English pub that I always hung out with and is 2 blocks away from where I used to live, then we've only got one of those available. So if you do want to do that private dinner with us, me, Stephanie, and Hazel, and just hang out with us alone, then you better book that ASAP, because once that's booked, it's gone. There is only one.
And dinner, would they still pay for their dinner?
So it comes with one meal.
It comes with one meal per person that's there?
No, it comes with one meal. And that's it.
Oh, okay.
Because you can't bring 25 kids and they all eat free, right? It's just it's a way to give somebody the FaceTime that they want to hang out with us, pick our brain, talk to us about anything. If they're like, oh, I'm going to run for office one day, and they want to sit down and figure out how to do it and get help, then I would.
It could be a business meeting.
Well, yeah, it could be whatever you want. So here's the thing. In the collection page here for the Liberty Tour, so you can see here's the base package, right, for one person. Here's the private dinner. And then once that's purchased, it's gone. It disappears. If you want to upgrade the Liberty, this is what I'm kind of excited about. This one, the Liberty Tour merch package. So it's a gift basket for people who want to just get an upgraded experience. We'll have a tour T-shirt. We'll have Liberty mugs. We'll have coffee or tea, depending on which one you want. And that'll be gifted to you from me upon your arrival. And then again, the optional upgrade. And then guys, remember, everything here, if you're a monthly sub, it's 20% off.
Right.
So if you are a monthly subscriber to the Wake Up America show, and if you're interested in any of this and you want to save 20%, there you go. So you guys can do a 20% discount on this. And if you get two people together and you want to do, you could do the Liberty Tour base package and then get a buy one, get one. The second one's 50% off, right?
And kids are free.
And
anyone
kids,
under 18
anyone
is
under
free.
18 is free, right, to join us.
We'll have all the Yale children coming.
That's fine if they're kids, they want to learn, right? 20% discount on top of everything. So if you did this, so let's say you went to the cart, you added that to your cart and you go in and you add the discount here, check out. I'm going to just so you would save.
Oh, we can't put the code in though. We can't show it to them.
Right. It was too late. I already did. So we'll have to change it, but that's okay. But you would just put your discount code in there, guys, and then it would be 20% of that, right? So rather than like $500 a person, you get the buy one, get one, and then you get it right there. So anyways, do we still text the show? Yeah. So if you don't have your discount code, guys, send us a text, 573-319-1586. Again, that's 573-319-1586, and we will do everything we can to make sure that it happens with you guys. So there you go. Bum 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 bum. Andy Opperman says he's loving the Doge merch. Thank you, Andy.
Thank
Glad to see
you.
it.
They still really haven't rolled out any real Doge merch. Elon Musk.
Yeah. Well, there's been a few things that Elon has posted, and no offense, I love Elon, but it's been kind of crappy.
It's that same cartoon dog.
Yeah, he's been posting really terrible, lame cartoon dog pictures. So there you go.
Grok can do better than that. I'm just saying.
Yes. Yeah. Grok can do way better than that, but I did way better than that. So I actually came together and said, So we've unlocked the bonus content. Congratulations. Let me put it in the scene. There we go. 2025. Will 2025 be the year of fiscal sanity? I guess we'll talk about that. Stephanie?
I hope so for all of us. Everybody. Everyone watching us. That would be nice.
Yes. We'll talk about that when we get back on the Wake Up America show on the 4 Liberty Network. Be the year of U.S. fiscal sanity. America has decades of unaddressed fiscal challenges piling up at its doorstep. With ballooning deficits, rising debt, and soaring interest payments, 2025 could be the year Washington finally confronts hard truths, or tiptoes further into economic instability. Are we ready to reimagine fiscal priorities? Interest rates didn't stay low forever, as wishful thinking once assumed. Politicians seized the opportunity to spend without restraint, abandoning financial responsibility even as the national debt surged. Today, the U.S. allocates more funds to interest payments than its entire defense budget. Adding to the strain, Social Security and Medicare expenditures are rising dramatically as more baby boomers retire. These entitlement costs are projected to push federal spending even further beyond sustainable limits. Tax reform is an undeniable necessity. Extending previous tax cuts without offsetting lost revenue will only exacerbate fiscal challenges. Congress must prioritize economic growth while introducing measures to control deficits. Balancing revenue and spending has never been more critical. Similarly, entitlement programs demand transformative solutions. Raising eligibility ages, imposing means tests, and adopting market mechanisms are considered pivotal to aligning these programs within the nation's fiscal capacity. Quick fixes like tariffs and economic austerity promises won't rescue fiscal realities. These approaches often fail to address root causes while hampering long-term growth. The solution lies in structural reforms, not superficial patches that overlook core economic issues. Implementing credible fiscal policies could yield profound benefits. With lower government borrowing, private investments would thrive, markets would stabilize, future generations would be eased of undue debt burdens, and America would retain the capacity to address emergencies without paralyzing the economy. Achieving fiscal sanity by 2025 depends on political courage and national consensus. Will lawmakers unify to reduce waste,
prioritize economic reforms and enforce strict budget measures? Or will inaction pave the path to a fiscal tipping point? America must not squander this opportunity to build a sustainable future. Let's demand honest solutions and real leadership to steer the U.S. out of financial peril. The time to act is now.
Tired of spending your hard-earned money on woke corporations that don't share your pro-freedom values? Fed up with sipping liberal lattes and progressive cappuccinos? Introducing Founding Flavors from AP for Liberty Shop. Get your day started with Washington's Revolutionary Roast. As robust and principled as the man himself, this blend is the shot of energy heard round the world. Or maybe you want to taste the fervor of freedom with Adams's Patriotic Perk. It's as dynamic and balanced as the U.S. Constitution, sure to awaken your spirit of liberty. For the aficionados, we've got the Jeffersonian Java, a complex mix of flavors that speaks volumes about your refined tastes. And don't forget Betsy's Liberty Lullaby, our decaf option, crafted with the same care and dedication Betsy Ross put into our Star-Spangled Banner. This blend lets you enjoy the taste of freedom anytime without losing sleep. No woke beans here, folks. Just pure, patriotic, pro-freedom flavors brewed.
Were you exposed to hazardous materials while serving in the military and have an illness or condition as a result?
If so, you may be eligible for VA benefits and services.
Whether you need health care or want to file a disability compensation claim related to military exposures, VA is here to help.
Visit va.gov/military-exposures to learn more and apply today.
If there wasn't going to be somebody who was a fiery champion of liberty, somebody who would get out there and who would be aggressive, and if they wouldn't do it with more fire or passion than I had, then I would go and I would fight this battle for us. I've fought for the principles that we all share. Parties tend to be secondary to me. We're here because we believe in the principles of liberty. I am not a perfect messenger, but I think I'm a damn good one. This is a replica of our first president's flintlock pistol. You have my full support, my respect, and my gun.
I think that at the heart of my philosophy is much more libertarianism than well, that's the fashionable word these days, I guess. A conservative is no longer just that. He's a libertarian and always has been.
Yet any time you and I question the schemes of the do-gooders, we're denounced as being against their humanitarian goals. They say we're always against things, we're never for anything.
What is fascism? Fascism is private ownership, private enterprise, but total government control and regulation.
Well, the trouble with our liberal friends is not that they're ignorant. It's just that they know so much that isn't so. If we lose freedom here, there's no place to escape to. This is the last stand on earth. This is the issue of this election. Whether we believe in our capacity for self-government or whether we abandon the American Revolution and confess that a little intellectual elite in a far distant capital can plan our lives for us better than we can plan them ourselves.
Conservative, so-called, is the one that says less government, get off my back, get out of my pocket, and let me have more control of my own destiny.
had to pick up the phone, call 911 for one of my family members or one of my neighbors, what would I do if no one was on the other end to respond? What if there was no 911? So you can be a part of the solution.
Anybody can be a firefighter. Male, female, younger, older.
We have school teachers. We have leaders in business.
Is me, you, anyone that wants to be. There is no typical firefighter.
Do you hate the deep state? Do you reject the Antichrist in all his ways? Do you believe that aliens controlled LBJ to assassinate John F. Kennedy? Did you know that the shot can put chemicals in you that will make you more sensitive to 5G? Do you love America? Do you want more freedom? Do you like smoking hot red-headed libertarians? Then the AP for Liberty shop is for you! Check out all the awesome new merch and have a happy new year! Fight the deep state! Reject the Antichrist! Visit AP for Liberty shop and get your patriotic merchandise now, or the deep state wins!
Good morning, rise and freedom. I'm Austin Peterson. You're watching and listening to the Wake Up America show on the For Liberty Network, streaming live. We're so glad to have you here today, joining us here on the Wake Up America show. Click that like button, and if you haven't already, today is the day to click the follow button as well. Come back and join us every Monday through Friday from 7 to 9 a.m. Central Time. That's when the show streams live. Today's Friday. We like to call it Freedom Family Friday. Why? Because today is the day that I bring my smoking hot, Daphne-looking Jewish wife, Stephanie Peterson, on the show. Hey, Stephanie.
I thought you were going to say that about your brother. I was like, oh. Yes, it's me. Hello.
Nice to see you. And not only do we have my lovely smoking hot, redheaded libertarian wife, Steffi, but we have my lovely smoking hot, black-haired brother, Justin Peterson.
Wait, does he have a mustache today or no?
I don't know.
Is it gone? Wait.
Justin?
It's a whisper. It's a whisper.
Oh.
There's all like a starter. But I just haven't shaved. Austin's making a deliberate choice. I
just haven't shaved either.
Yeah. Well, you're making selective shaving choices.
Exactly. Justin, good morning. I'm glad.
Good morning. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. We're glad that you're back in Boston, nice and safe. We appreciate you. We appreciate you joining us here. We don't always get you in the mornings, but we're glad that we got you today, Just. So,
it's like the Pope.
Justin, I was playing a clip earlier. Ostensibly lesbian, bisexual, queer firefighters. Los Angeles Fire Department has worked very hard to make sure that the people who are out there rescuing you with no water look exactly like you. So, Justin, if somebody's going to pull you out of a fire, do you want them to look like you, sound like you, smell like you, talk like you?
You know what I'm saying?
Okay, maybe that was the wrong question.
I mean, do you think when you're in a survival situation...
What?
When you're in a survival situation, are you really looking at how attractive the person is who's saving you? I don't know if I would really notice.
I mean, only in the movies.
Yeah.
But, it was so funny because I watched that ad yesterday and on X or whatever it was, or I don't know if it's an ad, but I said, it really reminds me of the same energy of the 2002 Mecca fire that occurred in Saudi Arabia, where it's like a school of girls, and there was a fire in their school, and the firefighters wouldn't come in to rescue the girls because they weren't wearing the traditional Islamic dress. So it's like, we're not going to save you because you don't look right? I mean, that's kind of the same energy that like this whole thing reminds me of. It's like, this is when ideology stands in the way of common sense. It's like, if if this is the most important thing to you, you have a really effed up sense of morality and what's right to do in the situation. I don't care. Again, this is the idea about meritocracy. I don't care who's coming to save me. And I was really rude, and I know it's in the morning yesterday. I was talking to a friend about this. I don't care if you're the best carpet muncher in the entire world. If you cannot save me in a fire, I don't give a rat's ass how well you can go down. Okay?
Oh, wow.
It is nothing to do. I don't care about this.
My virgin ears.
I'm sick of it. I'm sick of it because I'm just like, RuPaul, may the best woman win, honey. That's all I care about. I want the best person in the job. And that's the thing about meritocracy. I'm over it. And I'm sick of the LGBT community being used as some kind of political pawn to push stuff. I'm just over it. I'm over it. I care about the best person for the job. If you are a 6 foot, burly lesbian and you can do some SHIT, then I'm down for it. Get that girl in there and get her going. But you're not the magical rainbow person. I'm just tired of this magical rainbow person thing. It's like the LGBT.
Like the magical powers. It's like the magical Negro stereotype.
It's like you have powers and you have access to knowledge and special things that no one else. I'm like, get over yourself. The narcissism, the preening narcissism drives me insane.
Well, they have more empathy. That's what they're trying to say. They have more empathy than most.
Right. They care more, Justin.
Yes.
They're more empathetic than the rest of us.
Right.
Right. So I'm okay. Thank you for being so empathetic when you drop me. Because you can't carry me at 270 pounds. Thank you very much.
They'll at least say they're sorry and probably cry.
Yeah. Oh my God, colonialism did this to you. How could you let white supremacy do this to you in your house? I'm over it.
Oh my God.
Oh my God.
Drives me insane.
Oh my God. All right. Pause. Okay, wake up, everybody. It's time to sin. Click the like button on the stream for Justin Peterson. Help us to grow the show by clicking the follow button as well, Justin. So another issue that people are talking about with the Los Angeles fires is, I don't know if you saw this morning, but they arrested a homeless person for allegedly helping to start fires. They believe, they don't know for the original fire that may have been naturally caused. However, there are rumors of homeless people going around, and I've seen some videos where they're just, they're saying that they did, but I haven't been able to confirm that. But it makes sense to me. As Stephanie's like, why would they do that? Is because they want to get rescued so they can have a place to live? I'm like, no, Stephanie, some people just want to watch the world burn, right?
Well, it's arousal. Doing bad things is an arousing feeling. It makes you feel really excited. It makes you feel that's like what pyromania is, really. It's like a delight in destruction. It's like, and that's why pyros always try to watch the fires, when they set them, because they get such a thrill from it. Mm-hmm. But if you've ever been to LA, which I have, I think twice, I mean, it struck me when I went to one of the train stations in downtown that out in front of the train station was literally like a tent village. And this was 5 or 6 years ago. This was not recently. This is a while back. Mm-hmm. So, people that are going to do mischief are going to do mischief, and they're assholes. Just ruining it for the rest of us,
Yeah.
But those conditions were absolutely ripe for that to happen. You know what I mean? The thing is, it was just a perfect, perfect storm of bad situations all around.
Yeah. What do you think about the news that insurance companies were canceling coverage, just weeks before this happened? What's your take on the whole insurance question in this, Justin?
Well, my feeling is, I'm going to use a term that the kids use nowadays. I'm going to say it's kind of sus.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, it's kind of suspicious. I mean, those people aren't dumb. The thing that I learned when if you ever work in retail, you realize these great companies and all these different things have all of these metrics and things that they look at for, understanding behavior, understanding consumer behavior, understanding particular situations. So, it feels a little deliberate or on the nose. I mean, what was it? 1,600 people they dropped off of the insurance plans. 1,600? I think it was. I don't know. It just feels a little like a controlled chaos kind of situation.
Well, what about the there's the insurance angle, which is kind of like, how do you make money when like the state of California prevents you from using modern quantitative analytics in order to determine like what would be a good rate to charge people, because they can't charge people market rates for insurance, Justin. So, I mean, why would you want to insure people out there? Because the government prevents you from actually being able to keep your business afloat.
Oh, totally. And then I think about the insurance impact on just those homes. I saw an aerial Photoshop or a photo picture of all of those different properties and what they were valued at, like 4.2 million, 3 million, 5 million. I mean, oh my gosh, that's a lot of money. And my thing about insurance is like, you buy insurance, one, because you think you don't want to have to use it, right? That's what I always tell my kids when I'm working with them in the fall about insurance. It's like, you buy it in the hopes that you never have to take advantage of it. But when you do have to take advantage of it, if you can't take advantage of it, it feels a little bit like a bait and switch, right? It's like, well, I bought this insurance and like whether it's health insurance or whatever it is, it's like you've paid in these enormous payments, right? These premiums. And then it's like, and then the time comes if something happens and you need to withdraw, they're like, oh no, we're sorry. There's a loophole here that we forgot about and you don't get to take anything out. I'm like, how is that not fraud? Like, I don't understand how that's not fraud. Insurance is messed up. I mean, I think the idea of it is good, but oh man, it's messed up, especially when you actually need it.
And I just want to say, when Austin and I are talking about places that we would move in the future, I know that I take into consideration possible disasters that could happen. So it's like we've talked about, hey, it'd be cool to live in Florida. But what stops me is hurricanes. And I say, you know what? I don't want my house to be destroyed every few years. And California, I don't want an earthquake or a mudslide or a fire to destroy my house. Here in Missouri, yes, we could have a tornado destroy our house. But I feel like it's just part of being a responsible homeowner to choose a place where you're not going to have a lot of disasters happen. If you can control that.
Yep. Do you need to go get the baby?
Oh, yes. Hazel is crying. I'll be right back.
All right, Hazel, she's going to go get the baby because she just woke up here. That's what Freedom Family Friday is all about. Justin, you and I shall continue this conversation until Steffi gets back.
Okay.
So there's the fires, but what about the water situation out there, Justin? Have you been reading about the lack of water? I mean, we're like the richest nation in the world, and somehow we can't manage to get water to one of the richest places in the entire nation. Something's wrong with that, because it appears to me, if the richest people in the world can pay for anything, you would think that they would be able to pay for water in their neighborhoods for there to be there for the emergencies. Somehow the richest people in the world can't afford to do that. There's only one thing that I could think of that would prevent water from being able to get to the richest place, and that is central planning of water. Your thoughts?
No, I think that's spot on. I actually said the same thing yesterday to my friend Kristen. I was like, we're the richest country in the world. What in the world is going on here? And then I find out today there's like these scooper planes. Have you seen about this thing about the scooper planes?
No.
There's only 2 of them. And these scooper planes basically scoop up ocean water and then drop the ocean water over the fire. But there's only 2 of them, and one of them was damaged by a drone.
What?
Like you can't, like one of them was damaged by a drone. So, I mean, this is like Titanic levels of
disaster. Oh yeah, it's now like the most damaging fire in U.S. history at this point.
Yeah, because I mean, I keep thinking, because I'm a history person, I love history, and I think about the fires during the San Francisco earthquake of 1906, or the Chicago fire, I think that was 1903, where almost the entire city of Chicago just burned to the ground. And you think, wow, we're so much more developed than that. That would never happen here. We would have no. And it's like, I read an article this morning, that said, and the first job of the government is to keep you safe. Right? I mean, that's kind of it. Like, that's really, that's beyond that. It's like their job is to keep you safe. And I think maybe that's the minarchist view. I don't know if that's what jives with what you think, but, you're not being kept safe. And like, think about those people all paying taxes. Think about all the tax money, the tax revenue that's been spent by all of those people in property taxes and income taxes that live there. What are their taxes going to? Like, where is that? What is that? How are there not stronger infrastructure systems in that city set up based on tax revenue, on property tax revenue alone, to get stuff to happen there?
Yeah.
It's like, Elections have consequences. Elections have consequences.
Yeah, no, the view that I would have, the theory, the minarchist theory of like the purpose, the primary purpose of government is to protect our liberties first, and our and safety perhaps are a second or a third. But in terms of like how this would operate is that you would basically, California should sell all the water rights to Nestle. It should be it should be completely privatized, like Poland Spring, right? The people who deliver the barrels of water to your offices that people stand around and put in your water coolers would be the same people who would be in charge of making sure that there's enough water for emergencies. And we would also have privatized fire departments and privatized fire insurance, and that would be how things would be run in that kind of a society. But that's the theory, and we haven't seen things like that for years. It used to be in the United States that you did purchase fire insurance that would you would have like a sticker, you'd have like a sign outside of your home, and this was again like early 1900s, that like delineated the homes that had insurance and homes that weren't. And people were like, oh well, they just let your house burn down. They would usually come in, and if your house was on fire, they would offer you some kind of a deal, like while they're fighting the fire and putting it out. And there was a lot of charity that was done. But it's kind of like, I live in a community with an HOA, and we have a private road, and the government doesn't take care of our roads. So, but like the guys in our community, they have tractors, they have ATVs, and we scrape it and take care of the road ourselves. And it's not a perfect system, but I mean, the problem with LA and the problem with California is that the rules and regulations that they have set up for insurance makes it that nobody wants to insure them. They make it cost prohibitive to do so. And then two, the environmental regulations, Justin, we haven't talked about that. What about the climate change angle on this one? The left is jumping all over the climate change angle on this one, Justin. Don't you think that climate change is really to blame, as many are saying? Or is it democratic capitalism, or is it capitalism, as they're saying?
Well, when you consider the fact that California is probably one of the most climate change regulated states in the country, no. It's like if there's any state that has more regulatory things going on with regard to climate change, and you can't do this, and you can't drink with a straw, and all this BS. No, I don't. Because here's the thing: how are you going to get China in on that deal? How are you going to get India in on that deal? It's like, why do we have to accept communism in order to save the planet? Why does communism have to be the answer? Right? I don't understand that at all. Yeah. I don't understand that at all. I'm like, no, it's not climate change. Stop scaring people.
I saw this chick, Crystal Ball, yesterday. She had posted about how democracy and capitalism are incompatible. And if that is true, I know which one I'm choosing. I choose capitalism.
Yeah, because I say this a lot, but if you're so concerned about marginalized people, you shouldn't like democracy either, right? You shouldn't like democracy, because democracy is two wolves and a sheep voting on what's for dinner. Like people that are in the minority aren't going to get a voice. So you shouldn't really like democracy all that much. It shouldn't be your best system.
Yeah, Justin, we played that video that you sent me yesterday on the show earlier, where that woman confronted Gavin Newsom, and I watched the first half of it, and I was really feeling for her, and it was nice to see someone confronting Gavin Newsom, and then she was talking about people losing their second homes, and then I kind of. And I mean, listen, I don't hate rich people or anything like that, right? Like, I don't feel any angst or upset at the ruling class.
Are you against capitalism?
Yeah, exactly. I don't but I mean, if you're talking about your second home and stuff like that, we are talking about some of the wealthiest, most powerful people in the world. I feel empathy for them, but maybe not as much as I would have if it was people who were really going to be put out from something like this. They'll just buy another $30 million home.
Right. I mean, where is all that empathy when there's floods in different parts of the country? It's the thing about that video that I thought was so interesting was it's again that idea of truth to power, right? There is your representative right there, and being able to be a person, and this sort of attitude of I'm busy, don't mess with me, I'm on the phone with the president. I mean, that's the kind of out of touch elitism that's going on in these government officials, where they've forgotten that they represent the people. And that's what bothers me. And then, of course, the attacking the woman. I mean, I kind of see your point. And but to attack her as like the ultimate Karen. She's like, I want to speak to the manager.
I want to speak to the president. And
Right.
Stephanie and I were making the point earlier. It's kind of like these people look at the president as if he's a god, right? As if like, you know, he can push a button and he can put the fires out or something like that. But it's like, you know, these people have a complete and total faith and trust in government. It's like you and I were talking about yesterday, that Adam Carolla clip where he's talking about, well, now that these people have to come up with city permits in order to rebuild their homes, they're going to change their mind about the bureaucracy and all this kind of stuff. And I'm like, no, they're not. These people are captured. This is like, it's like expecting, you know, Muslims to deconvert after hearing about the rape gangs of the United Kingdom. They're not going to do anything like that. They're going to double down. They're going to see this as proof that their God is testing them, right, and all this kind of stuff. And that's how the liberals of California are going to treat this fire. They're going to say, oh, yes, we can't rebuild our home. Oh, well, it is for the greater good, the greater good, the greater good. You know what I mean? Like, but I mean, you seem to think that there's hope. I just don't have any for these people. You know, make your case.
I mean, I see your point. I see your point. And I think the other thing, too, that I think about this is that ideological stuff like this is a trap. And this is one of the reasons why I'm such a big proponent that everybody needs to come together and talk. The left has censored the right for so long that there is no self-correct button on the left. There is no way that they can, because it's all an echo chamber, right? It's either an echo chamber or a purity spiral. So there's no other kinds of voices that are coming to the table to say, well, have we thought about this or have we thought about that? The idea of our society and the way our Constitution and everything was devised was that people can come together from different points of view, argue their cases through speech, through freedom of speech, to have these kinds of difficult conversations. But if you're on the side of telling, you know, or deciding your opponent is a Nazi or a fascist, and you're not going to listen to them because of their particular political view, this kind of stuff is the end result of that. Because there, again, is no corrective force on any of these government agencies. There's no corrective force on any of these regulatory bodies. So this is the end result of what I would call cultism, where there is no insight, there is no impact. You don't listen to your, you know, not say adversaries, but you don't listen to your opponents politically. We're supposed to have a lot of voices to be able to
right, and that's
when things go off.
That's why I was kind of happy to see that Senator John Fetterman of Pennsylvania is going to Mar-a-Lago to speak with President Trump, and he's getting raked over the coals for going to speak to literally Hitler, which, you know, if you think he's literally Hitler, then that's, you know, but I mean, I was laughing because he was getting questioned about what he was going to Mar-a-Lago to speak to Trump about. He's like, he's going to be naming me Pope of Greenland.
Oh my gosh. No, but I mean, that's, yeah, literally Hitler. Like, that's like Obama, you know? It's like I sent you that picture. It's like, yeah, he's literally Hitler, but you can sit there and share a joke with Hitler. Like,
yeah, well, I mean, here's the thing. Like, I mean, it was Barack Obama, like a couple of weeks before the campaign, that was saying that Donald Trump had said that there were fine people on both sides, that he was praising the Nazis at the Charlottesville rally, and he's sitting next to him, laughing, cutting it up, you know, shaking his hands, jiving with him, you know. So it's just, it's a fucking game, Justin. It's a game.
Oh, it's theater.
It's all a theater. It's theater. It's exactly right. It's theater.
It's theater for ugly people. That's what I call it. Theater for ugly people.
That's why I had to get into it.
Now, this whole can I just say something about this whole Greenland thing?
Yeah, go ahead.
I just don't understand how we're possibly going to get Greenland to be ours. I mean, are we going to fight a war and shed blood over this country? Like, how do people in this modern day willingly give over countries that they have had for a long time?
Justin?
I don't know, but I'm watching a lot. Yes?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yes?
Go ahead. Sorry.
No, I'm just watching people, you know, lose their mind because they're like, you know, the left is like, we told you he was a dictator. We told you he's going to take all the prize. We told you he's going to take Greenland. You know?
Well, that's they slowly shrink into a corn cob. No, but
it's colonialization. Yeah.
You know, I tweeted this the other day, and I think Justin even agreed with me. The results of anti-colonialism seem to have been worse than the results of colonialism. Look what colonialism gave us. It gave us the United States. Look what anti-colonialism gave us. It gave us India as a socialist shithole, third world, right? Like the problem with like this whole anti-colonial imperative is that there are superior cultures. The American pioneers were superior to the Native Americans. It was a good thing for the pioneers to manifest destiny and to go west and for them to build the United States. And it was a good thing for, it doesn't, listen, the Constitution, it was unconstitutional the way that Thomas Jefferson bought the Louisiana Purchase. It was still the right thing to do. It's like when the Alaska Territory was purchased, it was purchased by a guy by the name of William Seward. And Seward was like Abraham Lincoln's Secretary of State. And at the time, they called it Seward's Folly because they were like, what a ridiculous land acquisition. This makes no sense. It's too expensive. Nobody can live there. Our population is too low. And then until 1859, when the Klondike gold rush hit and they realized that there was gold in Alaska and they were like, holy shit, we decided now Alaska is a good thing. They think that there is something like in the order of like 32 to 36 trillion dollars worth of natural resources under the ice in Greenland. So Americans
and
today,
oil. I think there's oil there too.
Yeah, and minerals. Right. And so Americans today may only see ice patches where Americans 100 years from now may go, oh, it was Trump's folly. They called it Trump's folly, but it ended up being, But I guess the real question is, and I'd be curious, Justin, and for our audience to weigh in on this as well. What is the most legitimate method of land acquisition? And I'll give you three options, and if you have any others, please advance them. One is through conquest. Two is through vote, through referendums, and three is through purchase or sale. What do you think is the most legitimate method to acquire land, Justin? Because those are the three major ways that a nation state can acquire territory. Your thoughts?
Oh, that's a good question. I got to think about that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, I want to say purchase.
Yeah.
I want to
just
purchase.
say buy it.
Yeah.
I just
but if you buy
blood
it,
there,
but if you buy it,
usually means blood, and
yes.
I don't. I'm always trying the minimization of the shedding of blood.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I'm a free speech person, because when you don't have free speech, you spill blood. When speech stops, blood flows. So conquest to me seems the most bloody way to get something.
Mm-hmm.
It's to me like, what's the least amount of blood that will be shed?
Mm-hmm.
That's my sort of thought about
that. Yeah. I think that conquest can be legitimate, but it doesn't necessarily. It's not necessarily the right way. I agree with you about the question of blood. I think that purchase is the correct way to go. But the problem with purchasing, of course, is that even if you do buy it, the people who live there, they didn't get to weigh in. It's not, if you're just buying it, the people who were there, they didn't have a choice. Because if we're talking about like Canada,
well,
for
the loyalists to the crown in the colonies didn't like, I'm sure, being told that they were now independent, a country, because I'm sure they were like, why? We like the crown. We want the crown. We love the king. I think I see a lot of that on the left where, this idea about power, Austin, like you were saying earlier with Newsom and the president, it's like they have almost a deference to the president in the same way that the king was for the colonists who were loyalists during the American Revolution, where they were like, oh, the king will save us. The king will save us. Well, the king's on another island, in the middle of the, ocean over there in the UK. So I'm big on like this idea of like, why do you need a king? Why? But yeah, I agree. I think I'm with you.
I'm having a libertarian aneurysm because I don't know how libertarians feel about getting more land that's not ours. I mean, Thomas Jefferson, he purchased Louisiana. But other than that, I don't know how libertarians feel about this
conversation
topic.
Gives me such a boner, like a brain boner.
And I know in your
this is like my favorite shit because I wrote about this in my manifesto.
Can I just tell you, one of the guys I talked to on the phone,
what?
A guy I talked to on the phone yesterday, Billy, actually, he read your entire manifesto.
No way, really?
He did.
Well, so Billy at least knows what the hell I'm talking about. Okay. So yeah, lease, look at Liz says lease is another option. Yes, you could lease it too. But libertarians do not have good answers to these questions because the libertarians tend to say, well, the state should just wither away and die, right? But it's kind of like nature abhors a vacuum. And if you're not expanding, you're contracting. There is no such thing as stasis. Not for nation states, not for people, not for individuals, not for the universe, not for nothing. If you're not growing, you're shrinking. If you're not living, you're dying. you have to understand that the United States and the power that the United States derives has a lot to do with the geography of the United States. And our rivals, if you want to talk about safety, our rivals will seek to use geography to their advantage to impress a tactical advantage and strategic advantage against us. So the reason why Donald Trump talks about Greenland is not just the resources. I think he does it. I think he's talking about these acquisitions, like making Canada the 51st state. I think he's doing that to drive his enemies crazy while he's trying to get concessions from them on other things.
That's 4D chess, right?
Yeah, I think he's playing this is a distraction game in order to get people so the left hand doesn't see what the right hand is doing. But nevertheless, if we're talking about the question of Greenland, then he's talking about how China and Russia, they're actively looking at trying to impress themselves onto it, right? So it's kind of like, so he's trying to avoid a situation where China or Greenland, like for example, he talked about the Panama Canal and how China owns the two docks and the ports on both sides of the Panama Canal. Like he's talking about how like other countries, just because we have morals and we aren't going to impress our values or morals on other people, it doesn't mean that other people aren't going to be doing that, right? China and Russia are absolutely going to do that, and they're going to make a play for Greenland. So it's kind of like if you don't get your bid in, right, then you're going to be left out because nature abhors a vacuum. What's your reaction to that?
No, I think you're right. Don't project your values on the rest of the world because the rest of the world doesn't share your values. You know, I was also thinking too about one of the ways that the United States really became a cultural force, and another way we gained dominance was also through our culture. You know, our music, our television shows, our films. You know, the things of cultural. Weight that were able to be spread globally. I mean, there are people in Japan who like American culture for stuff like that. I mean, Germany likes particular kinds of American culture. There's many ways to become a more powerful country that don't always have to be tied to land. You can become more powerful through the creation of culture, which is why I'm always talking about culture. But no, I agree. I think you cannot assume that you're well, I say enemies here, but you can't assume that your enemies share your values because they don't. They don't.
Yeah, they don't. I think the problem with like libertarianism in the United States is that it has borrowed very heavily from the communist playbooks and the communist dialectic when it comes to foreign policy, because there really is like, other than like Javier Milei, libertarians really their whole foreign policy is just, oh well, the United States should just withdraw, or the idea that I hear from a lot of libertarians is that, oh well, if we don't attack them, if we leave them alone, then they'll leave us alone, which is like the dumbest shit I've ever heard. Like anyone who's ever had any contact with a bully knows that that bullies do not just leave you alone because you leave them alone. That is not how the world works at all.
Same with wasps.
Yeah.
Same with bees.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah.
oh well, don't mess with that wasp. If you leave it alone, it'll leave you alone. Hell no, it won't. It'll sting me.
It'll
sting me.
Yeah, you have to kill it first before it can kill you. Right. So like that's why I in my manifesto I very expressly reject the non-aggression principle, and I'm forging a new path. It's a new style of libertarianism that says, if there is something that is a threat to your life or to your liberty, you don't have to wait for it to attack you before you do it, because that's the most ridiculous strategic strategy that you could ever have. They call it the non-aggression principle, or the NAP, sometimes the NAP. The NAP is the only philosophy you need. It allows me to kill you after you kill me.
Right.
Yeah,
Well,
that's
again,
why getting Greenland, I'm like, is that aggressive? That's a little too aggressive of a tactic for us libertarians.
Why? To buy Greenland? Why is it too aggressive a tactic to buy
we're
Greenland?
Intervening in something that isn't trying to hurt us yet.
Well, it's not about trying to hurt. The Russians and the Chinese are actively making a play for Greenland, by the way.
So they want it too.
That's the case.
Yeah. So I mean, like, you need to have at least an offer on the table, right?
Yes.
Who would I rather have in charge of Greenland? Communists?
Yeah.
Or Americans who are more
Well,
democratic?
Denmark owns it currently. Don't they have a say in this whole thing? What do they want?
That's disputed. That's disputed about Denmark's actual territorial claim to Greenland. And that's an interesting question for us, Justin, as Danish Americans, about the loyalty. My loyalty, of course, lies to the United States. But I mean, Greenland receives benefits from the United States, unseen and unheard and untold benefits from the United States. And here's the question. The other factor that we haven't discussed is like the referendum. So, I mean, Cuba cannot last forever as an independent communist nation. It will, and I'm saying this as an absolute prediction, Cuba will eventually become a state. It will become a state. Eventually, the power of the United States will eventually overcome Cuba, and Cuba will eventually become a state. How should Cuba become a state? By it? Probably not, because the population is so high. You need a referendum vote. So to me, I think, if you're not going to buy a territory, and if you have if you have a high enough population, Alaska, there was like basically no one lived there. Greenland, basically no one lives there. But when it comes to the legitimacy of a land acquisition, the people of Cuba should be allowed a referendum vote. And if they vote to join the United States, they should be allowed to do so. Washington, D.C. should not, however, be allowed to become a state. And the reason why is because it will add 2 more Democratic senators.
I just think about Cuba. I was at Santa Fe Opera years ago with a wonderful soprano whose father, I believe, came from Cuba, and she was talking about all of that Cuba culture and life before the takeover. And I was just like, wow, because you look at like film reels from the 30s of like people going from on cruise ships down to Cuba, and like how much culture was in Cuba, and what a wonderful destination it was to visit, and all of the money that came into Cuba for tourism. I'm like, it's kind of a perfect place if you think about it in terms of like its opportunity to make money just for, think about the cruises that we've been on, like to stop off at Cuba and get some cigars or something, or like, oh my God, or the music, the music of Cuba, which is unique unto itself. I just think, it's a rich territory that could really, I don't know. It'd be interesting.
Mongoose 87 says, why would they become a state when Puerto Rico has not? The answer is because Puerto Rico is a territory and it is largely socially Democrat. And if it were to become a state, it would add 2 Democratic senators. So what people don't understand.
So if it's in your best interest, then it'll become a state.
That's right. That's right. We need to say fuck off to all of this concept of applying some esoteric, consistent principles that are against our actual interests. You know what's in our best interests? Adding another Republican state with 2 Republican senators, right? So Cuba can come, Puerto Rico cannot. If Northern California wants to break away and become the state of Jefferson and add 2 more Republican senators, it can. But Washington, D.C. cannot, and we're not going to allow, at our expense, ourselves to be governed and ruled by communists or social democrats. And if that means that we have to say, well, the human action actually says that, that this is the proper way to hold land acquisition. No, I'm sorry, fuck off with that. I'm not going to allow social democrats and communists to put 2 more Democratic senators into Washington, D.C. so that they can put an agenda over me. This is like, you have to understand, we're talking about a struggle for survival and control of the future and like what our children will be governed by. And we're going to beat the communists, whatever it takes. You have to have a strategy that allows you to live, right? We have to build a United States that is powerful and strong enough to resist our external threats while fighting domestic enemies at home and preventing any increase in communist or social democratic influence whatsoever. If that means being a hypocrite and saying that Puerto Rico and Washington, D.C. cannot become states, but Alberta, Canada, and Cuba can because they'll vote Republican, then I say yay.
This is supremacist.
Yeah. Yes, I am a cultural supremacist. I am an American cultural supremacist. I'm a libertarian nationalist. My country, our ideals, the libertarian ideals, to the expense of all others. Absolutely. We are better than the Native Americans. We're better than Denmark and the Danes. We're better than communist Cubans. And we should fight for our cultural supremacy, and we should colonize. We should take, if Greenland becomes an American territory and they're voting Social Democrat, then we should initiate colonies. And if Elon Musk goes to Mars, we should send libertarians up there to colonize. We should send our people and our ideas and make sure that our culture reigns supreme, because if we do not, then I promise you our enemies will. You cannot have a philosophy that demands that you commit suicide. You cannot a culture that demands that you acquiesce to tyranny and to communism and to socialism and to fascism or national socialism will not survive. You must have a philosophy. If your philosophy cannot beat the Nazis, if your philosophy cannot beat the commies, then it is fucking worthless and pointless, and it must die. It must die. That form of libertarianism must die. Can I get an amen?
I don't know about that.
You don't know about that. Okay. All right. Good to know. Good to know.
Part of the reason why I like to go on vacation in other places, such as Europe, is because their culture is so different. And I feel like if we colonized all these places around the world, it wouldn't have that same culture anymore. They would lose their cultural heritage.
They already did. Look what happened to France. They imported another culture, and now they're look at the United Kingdom with the grooming rape gangs.
Yeah, that's true.
Because they gave away their cultural identity. They said that our culture is not superior. It's worthless to have a British Empire. It's worthless for us to hold these things. We need to give it away, and you can blame FDR for that in a lot of ways. But look, that is the problem. Is that they had no belief in their own cultural superiority. They had no belief in cultural supremacy, and guess what? The Muslim pedo rape gangs of the United Kingdom, they believe in their cultural supremacy, and now look what they get away with. Now look what they can get away with. A libertarianism that demands that we accept a cultural relativism that places Islamic Wahhabist terroristic jihadist fascists on even the same playing field as us, as like the concept that it's like, these all cultures are relative and it's all the same. No, it's fucking not. No, it's not. Parisian culture, Franco culture was superior before it was invaded. British culture was superior before it was invaded. And it's not even a white thing. It's not a white thing. Like Cuban culture was superior before it was taken over by communists and that culture. Correct. You have to be able to, it's not an ethno situation, right? It is a culture situation, and which culture is supreme. And American culture, before we believed in this anti-colonialism, it was superior. It was supreme. Can I get an amen in the chat? Agree, disagree, Justin? I don't know.
No, I'm over here having church. I'm like getting the vapors. I need smelling salts. It's so spot on.
Yeah.
Because a culture needs to be able to defend itself.
Yeah.
There should be an ability for France to defend its French history and
Yes.
rich cultural acquisition of art, music, the way of living, their habits, their social customs. But you've got to defend those things, right? Same with the UK. I mean, I think about, because obviously I'm a musician. I think about the rich legacy of British music and the, British Anglican, religious ideologies and things. And I'm like, you have to defend your culture. That when you go to France and it's no longer France, something is terribly wrong.
Mm-hmm.
When you go to the UK and it's no longer the UK, it's no longer the country of John Donne or William Shakespeare or any of those people. It's like, where did that go? That is a human tragedy.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
you're right. I am not a cultural relativist. I do not agree that all cultures are the same or better. There are worse cultures.
Yeah.
There are, these are the same thing. It's like, these women, of course, in the feminist, in the American feminist, who's so up in arms about, various and sundry things, yet is silent on the treatment of women in the Middle East.
Yeah, exactly.
Says nothing about women in the Middle East. Yeah. I'm like, you can make the distinction to say, you know what, getting your clitoris cut off is maybe not a great idea. Maybe that's a bad cultural idea. But it's the same thing. It's like, maybe the Aztecs cutting people's hearts out was the bad idea.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe sacrificing children to your god is a bad idea.
You know, the problem with this new populism, and it's got some good things and it's got some bad things, but the problem with the new populism is that with it has come an isolationism, right? So like there's this isolationist view that the United States can exist in a vacuum and be totally fine without like contact with the outside world. And it's just not going to happen now with modern transportation and travel and trade, right? If you know, the same people who are, you know, call for isolation are all paying their Amazon Prime subscriptions every year in order to get their, you know, Chinese goods in 2 days. But that's neither here nor there. But the question of like how this isolationism impacts our feelings about things like the acquisition of territory or Greenland or things like that. Like, it's not globalism to think that the Alaskan Purchase was a good idea. Was it global? Because they're accusing people who think that acquiring Greenland through a purchase or sale is globalism or something like that. That's not what globalism is. Globalism is international one world government, right? That's a different thing. Yeah. But here's the thing. It is the mark of an educated mind to be able to entertain an idea without accepting it. So I'm going to throw out a thought experiment for everyone right now. And when I do this with libertarians, Justin, they all get so mad at me. Rah, not a real libertarian. You know what I mean? Their brains break because
like I said, I'm having an aneurysm.
They can't deal with these kinds of hypotheticals because they are attached to dogma, right? It's the purity spiral, like you're talking about.
It's no true Scotsman. Fallacy.
No true Scotsman. Exactly. But here is a thought experiment for you, right? And when I pose this, even to people like Judge Napolitano and others, like thoughtful leaders in the libertarian movement, their brains just break, which is what has been like. It's been such a disappointment to me to like deal with so many people in the libertarian movement and so many people like. Not that I don't love the judge and he hasn't been a great hasn't been a great influence on me, but like when it comes to questions like foreign policy and things like that, I feel as if he's like he's just completely. He just dials into whatever is by the book. Just follow the book, and that's what you're supposed to do, rather than kind of like having a thoughtful engagement with certain ideas, right? And throwing them away before you have a moment to consider them. But consider this thought experiment. Stephanie, our audience, Hazel, Justin, everybody consider this. Here it is. Would you rather live on a planet like Earth, let's say, that had a one world government, one government, no other nations, one country, the whole world, globalism? Would you rather have one country the whole world is governed by, and it's governed under the Bill of Rights and the U.S. Constitution? Or would you rather have hundreds of countries, but they're all governed like North Korea? Which world would you rather live in? Would you rather live under a one world government where everyone gets extended the protections of the Bill of Rights and the 25 amendments to the Constitution, gets the Bill of Rights and the Constitution, but it's a one world government? Or would you rather live in hundreds of North Koreas?
I mean, I know my answer.
What's your answer?
No, I would live under the principles of liberalism. I would live under the principles of the Bill of Rights, you know, individualism,
right.
Freedom of speech, all of that.
Right, but here's the problem, Justin. You just admitted that you're a globalist. Oh my God.
Picking the lesser of two evils. You only give us two evils.
It sounds like some fucking commie
I'm one of those obnoxious libertarians.
Yes, Andy Opperman says culture is behavior. Certain culture behaviors are superior. It is a self-destructive trap to allow the definition of racism to extend to culture. Good point there, Andy. But here's the thing. So that's the thing. So that's the problem, is that suggests, and this is only an idea, guys, just don't jump down my throat. That suggests that it's not necessarily the size of government, but whether or not that government respects individual rights. Mm-hmm. Okay? Because the United States government is massive compared to North Korea. North Korea's government is much smaller. Now, the intrusions of rights onto the individual, of course, are much larger and impact on an individual basis. But in terms of the actual size of government, North Korea is a smaller government than the United States by far. That then suggests that the size of government is not the important factor, but whether or not that government respects individual rights. That is And when you pose this concept, this mind screw to libertarians, they self-destruct, many of them, because it goes at the heart of the worldview. It's like, oh, well, it's about the size of government that matters. Well, maybe it is, but maybe it's really more about whether or not that government protects individual rights, because no one would rather live in North Korea other than Otto Warmbier or whoever the guy was that like defected to North Korea. Not Otto Warmbier, but that was the guy who like got killed there. But that kind of throws everything into a tizzy when you think about things like that, right? But I mean, I play these mind games in order to ensure that I'm being philosophically consistent with myself, right? In order to ensure that I'm being logical, I play devil's advocate with myself. And that's kind of why I'm a bit of a pariah even to libertarians, Justin. Many of them can't stand me because like I consider things that don't necessarily go by the book of what people think libertarians should believe. And, you know, I feel like I'm only in good company because I see this from Javier Milei as well.
Well, if you become so dogmatic about anything in life, okay, your mind becomes impenetrable because you can't think. Your plasticity of your neuroplasticity is fixed. It's really literally the definition of a fixed mindset. And what's interesting is when you entertain an idea, it evokes feelings that you haven't had before. And those feelings you haven't had before are frightening. Mm-hmm. So rather than having the frightening, scary feelings, it's easier to retreat back to your position that you know and just say, well, I'll stay here because I know this other thing I don't know. The unknown is scary, but I'll stay here in what I do know. And I'm always like, I love to live in the cracks. I love to think about things and go, yeah, that is interesting. But I'm not afraid of using my mind. But I think dogma says, don't use your mind. Just follow these rules and follow along with what we're saying and listen to what we're saying, and you'll be fine, which is exactly what we saw in COVID. So any sort of totalitarian control anywhere is always about that. It's like, here's the book. You know, North Korea, was it North Korea that had the book? There was like the red book.
Oh, that was China. China. Little red book. Yeah, the little red book of communism.
Right. It's like the book. Just do the book. Live in the book. You know.
Yeah.
I don't like that kind of intellectual rigidity. You know. I want like I said, I want the best ideas to win. I don't care who they come from. You know. But yeah, no, you're right. I think if you become so dogmatic, you really, again, you can't see things in any other way, even if you don't agree with it. That's the thing. Like, there's a lot of stuff that I can take into counsel and go, I don't agree with that, but that's an interesting argument. But that, like you said, I think that's a sign of people who are trying to mature and trying to be adults in the way that they think.
You love to hear. That's my brother, Justin Peterson. We bring him on the show because he's so thoughtful and because we love him. He's my brother, and he joins us on Freedom Family Friday. Click the like button if you guys haven't already. We'd be glad to have you be a regular guest on the show. And the easiest way to get alerts and updates whenever the show goes live is very simple. You just go to the follow button over there in the Rumble chat. And if you click the follow button, then that will give you alerts whenever we go live, which is every Monday through Friday from 7 to 9 a.m. Central Time on the Wake Up America show. We'd be glad to have you join us. And if you want to text the show, you can do so at 573-319-1586. Again, the text lines are open and you can text us anytime, night or day. Call 322-677. Anytime, night or day. Only Raymore, Missouri, peculiar 1980s babies will understand that reference,
Kansas
Justin.
City, too. That was Kansas City, yeah.
Kansas
we were
City.
talking, I was looking at all those old... Listen, one of my things I love to do on YouTube is I love to go back and I love to watch those old like commercials from when you were a kid, you know? And it's so much fun to see, like, you know, Bob's Ford, you know, ads, or Adam's Toyota Corolla, whatever it is, when it was on Friday night. Adam's Toyota, and over in Adam's Toyota, you know, I just love that's one thing I think I miss about like the shift in local cultures was that like you could really get fun local TV shows like. You know, we used to love to watch Cremation Mortem. I think it was on Friday or Saturday nights. You know,
yes,
it was like local horror hosts where you get, you know, like a show, and then they would refer to things in your town. Like she would come on, you know, at like, I don't know, 10 o'clock at night after the news, and she'd be like, "And the Royals won the thing," and you're just like, you know, it was so local. Like I love that kind of local TV
Justin,
And so sometimes I
Justin,
like to watch.
apparently we have somebody who got the reference. Clementine over in the chat just posted 3212277. Anytime, night or day. Midwestern Builders. That's who it was. There it was. Okay, thank you.
Jingles.
Thank you, Clementine, aka Diog.
You must be
I'm trying to think of like.
Yeah.
I used to have another one like, does your home need a little repair? Call for better service now. A better service later. Call Standard. Boom, 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 boom. Improvement Company.
Yes. And that was the one where it would land on the antenna and the antenna would break or something like
and
that.
The house
Yes.
would fall apart.
Yes. Perfect.
I even love like, dude, and then I go and like search those companies. I'm like, is there still a Standard Improvement Company?
Yeah. Or what about 6488888? 6488888. Yes, that's Clementine in there on the chat. Very peculiar.
They used to. I was looking at the McDonald's. At one time in the '80s, they gave records out, and they did like the McDonald's. It was like a McDonald's rap, and it was like the entire menu of the McDonald's menu, like done in a rap. That's
funny.
That's a good one.
Justin, we've got to talk to you about something else if you don't mind before we go over on the chat. They want to know, Justin. Stephanie kind of let the cat out of the bag that there might be a possibility of a Justin Peterson celebrity appearance at the AP's DC Liberty Tour, March 1st through the 3rd. Now, I didn't promise that.
The Peterson family has been invited, so I mean, others could come too, right?
It's possible, but we're talking about the DC Liberty Tour, Justin, and we would love to have you there. Your thoughts on?
I'm going to do it. I'm going to try to do it as best I can. The wonderful thing about using everything, when you buy everything on a rewards card, right, an airline rewards card, you just keep racking up those airline points, and so I should by May, I should definitely have enough in the kitty to get me down there.
You could fly, but they have pretty good trains from like Boston to DC, don't they?
That's probably true. It might be more expensive. I have found sometimes that transit on trains is more expensive than flying.
Yeah, it can be, but it's also like, it's also more comfortable. You get your internet.
Listen, do not get me going about trains because I am a trainaholic. I love trains. When I years ago I went to Albany, New York in a private car. If you ever do anything in your life, put it on your list. Get a private car on a train with a bed. You can close the door. No one is around you. You're not sitting next to some smelly ass person. You're able to really enjoy like traveling. There's a coffee maker at the end of the hall. Like you have plugins for your phone. No one is going to disturb you. It is, to me, the most civilized way to travel. I wish we had a national, train, situation in the United States. It would be amazing.
Yeah, we'll never have that because.
Did you see that video of the Japanese? Did you see that video of the Japanese people doing that high-speed train that came out? I think it was last week. Of like all the reporters. There's all this cadre of reporters that are standing there waiting for the train to come by, and then it goes like shoom, and it just goes super fast, and then the reporter just looks at the camera and goes.
Shinkansen, their Japanese trains are absolutely amazing, but they are a much smaller country, so it'd be like, if we were the size of California, it'd be a lot easier. Justin, the DC Liberty Tour, May 1st through the 3rd. We hope to see you there. And is there anything else that you would like to share with our audience before we let you go today, my beloved brother?
Happy New Year. Hope y'all are healthy. Stay healthy this year. My Substack that I write, I'm a nerd. I'm a voice person. That's what I live for. I live for music. I live for, the musical arts and culture. It comes out at 10 o'clock here in my time, which is, I don't know what time that it would be, 9 o'clock your time. And it's going to be all today about the messa di voce, which is the swelling and diminishing of the vocal tone. This is my thing. This is my life. This is what I do. But if you want to read me on my Substack, it's Justin Peterson at .substack.com.
There we go. JustinPeterson.substack.com. Check him out. Justin, we love you.
Love you too. Happy New Year, y'all.
Happy New Year. We appreciate you very much. Say bye-bye. There we go. Bye-bye, Justin. All right. Well, it's been a fantastic show today, but it's time for for us to say goodbye. Before you go, guys, don't forget, if you want to book the trip, we have to have at least 5 people book it for it to be a go. So if we don't get 5 people booked, then it doesn't happen. I'm sure we will. The deadline for that is March 15th. The deadline for refunds is April 15th. So make sure you guys read all the fine print, okay? Because people are like, Austin, I'm confused about this. And it's like, it's all there. Just read it. Just read it. If you have questions, it's fine. Send us a text, 573-319-1586. If you get a 20% discount from the shop and you don't have your gold, your 20% gold card, then hit us up at 573-319-1586. We'll get you your gold card because if you are a monthly subscriber, get that 20% discount. And if you want to go on the trip and you want to save 20%, and you're not a monthly subscriber, become a monthly subscriber because you'll save a lot of money. You could become a $5 a month subscriber and save hundreds of dollars. So just do it. Go to wakeupamericashow.com/support and then sign up for a monthly sub, guys, and you will become you will get that 20% discount. We will send that to you. If you don't have your code, again, get in touch with us. Let's start booking our trips, guys. We're going to be there May 1st to the 3rd, Revolutionary War weekend. Stephanie, you want to weigh in?
Hazel and I will be there, so if you want to meet us too.
Yeah. We want everybody to be there, hang out with our friends, and if this trip's a big success, next stop, Argentina. All right, we'll see you guys on Monday. Hopefully the snow will subside, and maybe we'll be in studio. Maybe we'll just stay here if the internet works. On the Wake Up America show on the 4 Liberty Network.
Be free.
You that baby.
She had actually pulled the microphone out during the thing.
Be the year of U.S. fiscal sanity? America has decades of unaddressed fiscal challenges piling up at its doorstep. With ballooning deficits, rising debt, and soaring interest payments, 2025 could be the year Washington finally confronts hard truths, or tiptoes further into economic instability. Are we ready to reimagine fiscal priorities? Interest rates didn't stay low forever, as wishful thinking once assumed. Politicians seized the opportunity to spend without restraint, abandoning financial responsibility even as the national debt surged. Today, the U.S. allocates more funds to interest payments than its entire defense budget. Adding to the strain, Social Security and Medicare expenditures are rising dramatically as more baby boomers retire. These entitlement costs are projected to push federal spending even further beyond sustainable limits. Tax reform is an undeniable necessity. Extending previous tax cuts without offsetting lost revenue will only exacerbate fiscal challenges. Congress must prioritize economic growth while introducing measures to control deficits. Balancing revenue and spending has never been more critical. Similarly, entitlement programs demand transformative solutions. Raising eligibility ages, imposing means tests, and adopting market mechanisms are considered pivotal to aligning these programs within the nation's fiscal capacity. Quick fixes like tariffs and economic austerity promises won't rescue fiscal realities. These approaches often fail to address root causes while hampering long-term growth. The solution lies in structural reforms, not superficial patches that overlook core economic issues. Implementing credible fiscal policies could yield profound benefits. With lower government borrowing, private investments would thrive, markets would stabilize, future generations would be eased of undue debt burdens, and America would retain the capacity to address emergencies without paralyzing the economy. Achieving fiscal sanity by 2025 depends on political courage and national consensus. Will lawmakers unify to reduce waste, prioritize economic reforms, and enforce strict budget measures? Or will inaction pave the path to a fiscal tipping point? America must not squander this opportunity to build a sustainable future. Let's demand honest solutions and real leadership to steer the U.S. out of financial peril. The time to act is now.